rent assistance heats up. But will the amount of money you need come on time, or will it come too late? Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update today with really the best news I have heard of the entire week on this subject. Rent assistance, rent forbearance, mortgage forbearance, rent eviction moratoriums. I am just so excited for you because finally, we heard from the Republicans and they said, yes, it's going to be in their second stimulus package. What a sigh of relief. So let me get right to the facts and right to the details. As you know, rent eviction moratoriums has been really a big issue. Half of this country is not under moratorium. So landlords are going to court and evicting tenants in rapid numbers. The Democrats proposed to save the situation with the HEROES Act, which landed in the Senate back in May. They proposed a lot of stuff. I'll be going over the detail in a second, but included basically the inability of landlords to evict tenants if they can't make rent during COVID-19, ensuring that people are not displaced from their homes. The most important fundamental thing of people living during a pandemic is not to lose their homes. But for weeks and weeks and weeks, I stayed with the subject, you stayed with the subject, and we were all worried underneath our breath and sweating that we had not heard from the Republicans if they're going to agree upon this. They had absolutely not said anything. And Sunday, the heavens opened up because Larry Kudlow, who we never particularly like, and Steve Mnuchin, who 50% of the time is great and 50% of the time is out to left field, said that the Republican second stimulus package to debut tomorrow, Monday morning, will have a rent eviction federal moratorium. Oh my goodness. So let's get to the details. The first thing is that when we talk about rent assistance, there's a lot of facets to it. And the news reporters have been absolutely horrible all week long, and they're going to be horrible next week. They're not asking these politicians what they mean by certain words. So Larry Kudlow and Steve Mnuchin both confirmed today that there would be a rent eviction. They use the word eviction moratorium in the second stimulus package being proposed to Republicans, but they not say more of the details of it, like is there mortgage forbearance, is there rent grant programs, is there landlord for mortgage forbearance provisions? We don't know. I don't know. So far, all we have heard are the two words rent eviction moratorium, which means the following. If you are a tenant, cannot make rent because of COVID-19, and are in a place, a state, a city, a county, where there's no eviction moratorium in place, the proposals from the Republicans now would create a federal law that prevents the landlord from evicting you. Oh my goodness. I've had viewers of this channel who have been with me from the very, very beginning. I'm trying not to get emotional, but they have literally either lost their homes or about to lose their homes, whether it's Kevin Lee in Texas or Kervon, who I believe is also in Texas, who have literally gone from their homes to potentially living in their cars. In the case of Kervon, he did. Or Kevin Lee, who is literally about to be displaced with his wife and his kids, had not received his first stimulus package money, his EIDL grant, was literally on the brink of not having a place to live, got grants. I have so many viewers in the comments on a daily basis saying they are facing evictions. I have felt for all of you, and I've been deeply worried that time was looming. The Democrats have proposed lots of different rules and lots of different laws. I went over 5 of them yesterday. There's literally 5 different bills for the Democrats that all basically say the same thing about eviction moratoriums. You cannot evict a tenant during the pandemic. It's as simple as that. You can't evict someone during the pandemic if they can't make rent. But the Republicans hadn't said anything. Today, they said it. So Larry Kudlow, appearing on CNN, said there's going to be a $1,200 check coming. There's going to be part of the new package. He says the package will include unemployment benefits, and it's going to include eviction moratoriums. The check is going to be in there, the reemployment benefits bonus, the retention bonus. There'll be tax breaks. There'll be there'll be stuff for businesses. Kudlow also said the administration plans to lengthen the federal eviction moratorium, which has protected millions of renters in the last 4 months from being evicted. Cities across the United States are facing evictions of record numbers. That was Kudlow, who none of us really like, director of the U.S. National Economics Council, which is like the most BS title ever. Then there's Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary to Donald Trump, who appeared on Fox Sunday News and said the same thing, that there's going to be an eviction moratorium. The odds favor a big increase in job creation and reduction in unemployment, and that they're going to make sure that this is a very successful bill. What we didn't hear anywhere in there was beyond the words of rent eviction moratorium. So where are we? If you're in a state, some states currently, as I sit here on Sunday, 50% of the states do not have eviction moratoriums. 50% of the states do. For example, if you're in Delaware, Delaware cannot evict any tenants anywhere, does not allow any landlords anywhere in the state to evict tenants because they can't make rent because of COVID-19. Very, very, very simple rule. And they can't do it until COVID-19 is gone. Very, very simple rule. Missouri, hot mess. The governor, who's also a very hot mess, he's the one who said the kids should go back to school and get COVID-19 and deal with it. He passed a rule that said, I'm not going to make a decision about eviction moratoriums. The counties make the decisions. And so ultimately, some counties don't have eviction moratoriums. Some do. And so it's becoming a very big confusion. You don't know if your county does or doesn't. And what's happening is across the country, evictions are rampant and out of control. 20 to 40 million new eviction cases have been filed. The good news, ironically, and this is sort of a lot of nuance, is that, okay, they've been filed, but if we get this law passed fast enough, the cases will be taken off calendar. Who cares they've been filed? They'll be killed. The cases will be killed because there'll be a federal law that will moot the cases. So, I mean, that's something I have to sort of inform you. It's a little complicated, but if you have been served with an eviction and the federal law is passed, your eviction case would go away. That is something that I don't think anyone's going to take the time to explain to you except me, because it's very important. That's the first facet of eviction moratoriums, to prevent you from being evicted. The next facet is, how do we ensure that landlords don't do something with malice towards you when you're not able to make rent? Well, yesterday I detailed the senator from California, Kamala Harris, of course, you know, as a potential Democratic nominee, potential vice presidential running mate for Joe Biden. Her version of the rent bill has provisions in there that talk about a little bit more. She wants to prosecute landlords who don't follow the federal law. I love it. She wants to create a fund for tenants to get legal assistance if they're having problems with landlords following the federal law. She, I guess, inherently believes that even if you pass a second stimulus package that includes rent assistance, rent grants, rent eviction moratoriums, she thinks that landlords are not going to follow it and that tenants are going to have a real bad problem. One of the examples she uses in the bill, which I think is really quite interesting, I guess she sees these problems happening. I would not have foreseen them, is she thinks that landlords are going to do bad stuff to tenants, ruin tenants' credit history, and then keep their deposits. So their tenant deposits, their security deposits. So she actually has stuff in there that says you can't use security deposits to offset unpaid rent. You can't try to ruin my tenant's credit history because we passed a federal law. So she has a lot of other protections in there. The Republicans, we just don't know. We're going to see tomorrow if they have those in there. The next part of rent programs is grant. Grant money is very, very, it always takes a second or two to explain because it comes in two parts. There's the first part where the federal where the federal law creates a grant program. The Democrats have their proposal has a grant program run by HUD, in which you as a tenant would apply to HUD to get money. That money would be paid directly to your landlord. You wouldn't have to worry about it. It would go from the HUD, from the Department of House, from HUD right to the landlord, and from HUD to your utility company. So you wouldn't have to do anything. That is one way they're doing grant programs. There's a second way they're doing grant programs, and the Republicans have said that they're agreeing to this, but we just don't know the nuances of this. That is where the federal government allocates funds to states as a whole, like here's $200 million to the state of New York, and says you can use this for rent money. And that's what they did on the first stimulus package. As you know, last Thursday, New York launched a grant program for its tenants who can't make rent. That money came from the first stimulus package back in May. So the Republicans absolutely, for the second stimulus package, Steve Mnuchin has already said we are having money allocated to states so that they can disperse these funds. I want to do a little bit of ranting. There was a bad New York Times article that came out yesterday that said we have a leaked memo of the Republican second stimulus package proposal. I called hogwash on the whole thing because, first of all, most of it had been denied by Steve Mnuchin the day before. I had reported that Mnuchin had denied these allegations. Second, it wasn't new. A lot of these details we already knew. Third, it talked about allocation of funds to states for rent money, like I've been talking to you for 5 days. I mean, Steve Mnuchin already confirmed that a week ago. So it was the most made up, convoluted, untrue hogwash story. And I'm sorry if you read that story from the New York Times. Totally bad reporting and bad journalism across the board. And anyone who cited it as their channel, well, God bless you, because it's not a good story. I'm not reporting allegations. I'm reporting facts here. So let's get to what's the next facet of this. If you own your home, and you can't make mortgage, well, the Democrats are going to protect you. And we'll find out tomorrow if the Republicans are. It most likely is that they will. Everything they do is geared upon property owners and business owners. So it would be out of character not to have you would call this mortgage forbearance provision. These words are just enormous. That would say if you can't make your mortgage during COVID-19, don't worry, banks cannot foreclose on you. It would protect you whether you are a property owner as a home, whether it's your home we're talking about, or it's your apartment building. Republicans have never said they're against this. They have actually said a lot of stuff that they're sort of in favor of it, but we've never heard their actual proposal. We'll see it tomorrow. The Democrats propose it in a much broader scope because the economics of this is so critical. Economists have all said, and I have said, because I rely upon economic data on a regular basis for this channel, is that rent and unemployment benefits are so critical to get fashioned out in a second stimulus package that if you don't do it right, we're over the financial cliff. We're crashing over the financial cliff. We're going into the sea below the financial cliff. You can't have people thrown out on the street. You just can't have people evicted. You can't have people losing their homes. You can't have mortgages going through the roof. You can't have foreclosures on every single block of a city in this country. You can't have that. If you do, you have financial collapse. You have the U.S. economy going into financial meltdown. And so Steve Mnuchin, who has a financial background, and Larry Kudlow, who does, who sometimes seems like he has no understanding of anything, have really woken up in the last 3 days and said, no, we can't have this done. And I have said, it just seemed out of character that the White House would not understand this. And so the White House clearly is understanding this. Where are we going? Well, we have 2 working weeks. Tomorrow's Monday. We have next week, and we have the week after that for them to get the second stimulus package approved. In the package is the check, the rent assistance, FPUC, a new building for the FBI, maybe some mouse ears from one company, some dancing shoes for Broadway. Everyone wants something in the second stimulus package. There's a lot of pork in there, a lot of allegations of pork, and a lot of confirmed pork. But then there is the two proposals. And what will happen is the Democrats and the Republicans are going to have their two proposals together. Gone, I don't know if I said it in this video, so I'm going to say it right now. Gone is Mitch McConnell's insanity of we're going to have 20 different bills. Not happening. Steve Mnuchin said on Sunday, not happening. We're going to have one stimulus package from the Republicans. We're going to have it done as a package. $1 trillion. Here we go. Let's get it done. We're going to negotiate. We're going to get it all done with the Democrats' proposal. Put them together. Done. Really, really clear, very, very straightforward, and tomorrow we'll see the details. Ultimately, if you have been served with eviction or notification by your landlord, there is now hope, because this law may get passed in time to make that case null and void. If you have lost your home, I'm sorry. If you're facing the fear of losing your home or the fear of being evicted, there's now really, really great news and words coming from both sides of the table. This is why this channel exists, to keep you informed, keep you educated, keep you smiling, keep you motivated. So as always, stay at LA for more.